Everybody. Okay, most of us have more than one electronic device. Now, I'm recording this on a Mac Mini, which runs Mac OS. And you may have a Linux box, you may even, say it isn't so, be running Windows somewhere. Okay, I don't judge. Yes, I do. We all have phones, which for 99% will be running one of the big two, Android or iOS. And on all of these things, you're suddenly going to come across a file and say, I really want this on my Haiku setup. So, floppy disks have gone the way of the dodo, but we have USB thumb drives. That's one way to do it. So 20th century. No. We store our stuff in the cloud. One of the greatest confidence tricks in the history, because there is no cloud. Your files are on somebody else's computer. But we all trust that this will go okay. See? My life is in Dropbox. All my tax returns for the last 30 years, my kids' photos from him growing up, it's all in Dropbox. And perhaps you prefer Google or Microsoft's equivalent services. Yeah, that's the way we live now. We live in the cloud. So, where does that leave Haiku? We don't have a cloud solution of our own, but we still want to transfer files. Not to other people, to ourselves in the first place, to other machines that we own. Okay, so I'm going to run you through a few solutions that we have for this problem. And the first one, I cannot remember if I already discussed this when we talked about Clipdinger, but Upload It, which was also written by Humdinger, runs with a lesser known service. It's called the null pointer, and it's got the 0x0 address. ST. What country is that? Okay, so it's a tracker add-on, so if you install it, all you do is select a file or a folder and go to your add-ons and say upload it. And so then it will upload it to the service, and it'll give you a link where you can download it. And you can then email that link to someone else or even to yourself. Right, and so I have used it. It works beautifully. You don't have to create an account at this service. You don't have to send them any money. That's always a big plus, isn't it? Okay, what else have we got? Well, there's this one, Pony Express. This is supposed to be a Dropbox client for Haiku. I haven't had much success with it. Really, But, try it. Your mileage may vary. Yeah, I just get halfway through the installation program and it says it's installed, it's been approved by Dropbox. And if I go to the Dropbox website, I can see that it's listed there as a client, but then it never actually seems to synchronize anything. I don't know what's wrong with that. So, another possibility you may think of is this one. I did use that years ago. I see it hasn't been updated much recently, but this is command line, right? When I used it years and years ago, it worked beautifully, but you go to terminal and you say, Dropbox uploader.sh list, and it lists your Dropbox files. Well, not all of them, and it's your Dropbox home folder. And then you say Dropbox uploader.sh cd into this folder, and so it goes. It doesn't actually load all your files onto your system until you say, there's my file, and then you can download it. So if you're comfortable with the command line, give it a shot. Like any other thing that uses the Dropbox API, you have to register it with Dropbox. You have to have an existing account, and you have to say, please trust this client. Now, as I said, I haven't used it recently, but when I did, it worked very nicely. Okay, so, but there is now a new possibility. And thanks to Nipos on the forums for pointing this out, or I would never have come across it. Hello. Let's just see if we can get this. And no. Sorry, Nipos. I didn't mean to type your name. It's just sort of an automatic reaction there. Okay, let's just close this down and rather do this from the terminal. All right. And that is Nextcloud. There you go, Nextcloud_client. And if you like, you can get the documentation as well. Never hurts. So that will install a little program. And it's a little different from Dropbox. Works for all intents and purposes the same way, but Nextcloud themselves are not primarily the providers of the cloud space. They use other people. And as Nipos pointed out, this one will give you 2 gigabytes of space for free. Of course, if you need more, you can always send them money, but 2 gigabytes for free, that's not a large amount. You're not going to hold, your backup of your entire system on it, but for moving clouds, for moving files between machines, that's brilliant. And so that is what I've installed, not on this virtual machine. I've installed that on my main computer. And then I signed up with this company, thisroot.org. It took them a day for them to approve my account. And they ask you to write a 150 character little essay to prove that you're a human being and not a bot. I don't know, the bots are getting so smart these days. But still, there's a human who actually looks at this. They take a day, sometimes 2 days to say, okay, this one looks human. He passes the Turing test. And until you get that 150 character limit, you won't be able to finish the registration. So I got a little bit annoyed with this, and I say, okay, this is my answer. Still not long enough. What more do you want? And I think they said, he's annoyed. Must be human. So anyway, as I said, I haven't installed it on this VM yet, but on my main machine, this is what it looks like. Make that a little bigger. So, little thingy in your desk bar, you click on it, you get, if you use Dropbox, this looks very similar, right? Right, and there is your Nextcloud. It's in your home folder by default. You can put it somewhere else, I suppose. And it syncs between the thisroot server and whatever machines you have connected to it. Right. The only slightly tricky bit is that it asks you to give the exact URL that you use to connect to thisroot, which is cloud.thisroot.org. And I may look into getting multiple providers, because that's supposed to be possible. I'm not quite sure how that would look in this file hierarchy. But for now, yes, and these are not my documents. When you set it up, Nextcloud, rather than thisroot, pre-populates it with some documents just to show that everything's working. Some photos, templates. If you don't need them, just delete them, I suppose. And so far, yeah, I don't know if you remember, a while back I did an update on Firefox. And so I had Firefox on my main machine, and I wanted to record here on the VM, or on the Mac Mini actually. And so I just took my screenshots on the other machine and dumped them into the Nextcloud folder, and they synchronized over, and I could use them here. In fact, this screenshot that you just saw also came from there. So, yeah, I can recommend that. It's slightly more complex because instead of just dealing with Dropbox, dealing with Google, dealing with Microsoft, You have to deal with the Nextcloud app and with whichever service provider you choose to go with. You can apparently also run your own server, but if you know enough to run your own server, then I really don't know what you are watching my videos for. Comic relief, maybe? Okay, so Haiku also has, we go to network preferences, a built-in FTP server and a built-in SSH server. And of course, it is also possible to access your machine that way, right? And again, FTP is not so hard. You know, you don't have a FTP dot whatever address, but you get 196.187. That kind of address. But you just give that as your FTP address on the FTP client on your other machine, and you can download files. I have done that. I suggest you use FileZilla for that one, because it seems to be the most reliable way of using FTP. So that is the final way you can transfer files between Haiku machines or between Haiku and other operating systems. Yeah, if you're married to Google Docs, Google Files rather, well, they don't even have a Linux client. Same for whatever Microsoft calls their service this week. Don't even have a Linux client. So when are they ever going to get around to Haiku? And well, Dropbox at least is not hostile to niche operating systems. They won't actually put any manpower into developing a client for us, but one day somebody will figure it out. It's mostly Python, so it should be possible. At least get a, headless client going. Okay, so that is it for today. Keep well. Thanks for watching.